In America, you're innocent until proven guilty, but on the World Wide Web, that's just not the case. Joining us now to talk about the online mugshot industry is Paolo Cirio, an internet activist with the organization Right to Remove. Tell us a little bit about the Right to Remove and how it works.
Yes, the right to remove promote new legislation for the right to remove personal sensitive information from search engines. I am European, and in Europe we do have this right called the right to be forgotten, that let us to remove, humiliating information that stigmatize us from search engines. And I found that very bad that in US there is not that kind of legislation. And with the mugshot issue, that is pretty clear that should this kind of legislation should be enacted.
So you're hoping to take your rights in Europe over to the United States.
Well, I do think that is a kind of a human right, actually. So it's very international issue. Everyone should have that kind of right to privacy, right to be not having humiliating information searchable online. So I was just very surprised that in US this is not happening and there is no one doing anything about it, really. And with the mugshot, I was just shocked about this issue, really.
Yeah, I mean, do we have any rights when it comes to mugshots coming up in online searches?
Well, at the moment, there are every state has different legislations in United States. Um, in some states, it became illegal to publish mugshot. In some others, just illegal to charge a fee to remove the mugshot, but it's still legal to publish them. In other states, bills are pending and didn't go through at all. And it's very strange because, after all, it's not a local issue. Internet is everywhere, and so it's not really it's not even about the mugshot website, but eventually it's about the search engines that should be tackled.
Right, because you can access it from, say, Florida or the UK. It's the World Wide Web. So, how does that jurisdiction work out? I mean, if somebody perhaps had their mugshot taken in Florida, but the business, say, the mugshot business is located in Michigan, how do you rule
Yeah,
on
or
that?
even worse,
And who
even
has
worse.
jurisdiction over that? Would that be which state?
Well, it's the internet. Once that information is out there, it's very hard to remove, especially if it's in the hands of bad people. So these mugshot websites are often elsewhere in other countries, not even in the United States, and their owners are anonymous or they're hiding. So it's very hard to track them down in a way. And so that's why the search engines are, the side where these issues should be tackled, so that even if that information is in the hands of bad people, when someone look for your name, that doesn't come up. That should be simple as that.
So, what responsibility do you think should search engines like Google have over this?
Well, there are some basic kind of information, categories of information that are very important for our right to privacy, our security, and our dignity. And Google or any other search engines now or in the future should just take a responsibility to not expose that kind of information, and or just let us to have the right to remove that kind of information.
As it stands right now, what are our options for having our mugshots or anything embarrassing like that removed?
Well, there are plenty of those kind of reputation management companies that they would charge you a lot of money to clean your reputation, basically. So I don't know if they are embedded with the mugshot industry. Probably yes, but you would pay these people to clean basically the search results about your name on Google, and those are probably the only solutions, because you cannot really write to Google and say, look, I don't want this picture coming up. They won't reply to you. and you cannot write to those Mugshot website because they are hiding. So it's very tricky. It's very hard. The situation is pretty bad, I would say, at this point.
And I've actually heard of some of these mugshot websites. They have like sister companies that will offer to remove the picture for a fee.
Yeah, those are the reputation management companies. And so there is removeslander.com or internetreputation.com. There are a few, actually. And that's not the right solution. There should be just your right to control your personal information that is on the internet.
I mean, some people might say that's like extortion.
It is a kind of extortion. It's a blackmail, basically. Try to charge money to remove such of information.
Now, some operators might argue they're performing a public service by providing information about arrest records that can be found by neighbors without searching through records. What would you tell them?
Well, I think there is different way to inform the public. It's not just making everything public just to inform people. And actually, in the newspapers, for instance, sometimes they don't expose vulgarity or like they don't expose bloody pictures. There is a sort of common sense that is lacking from the internet at the moment. So yes, it's not that it's not about censorship. It's just about protecting the dignity of human beings. If there is something that is like humiliating, it shouldn't be like exposed in that way. And most of the cases, these are people that have been arrested for very minor offenses or crimes, or they were not even found guilty after all.
Yes, in some cases, many people, it was a mistaken identity issue, or yeah, the charges were dropped. Lots of different issues, but yet that mugshot is still out there on the internet. I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about some other things that wind up on the internet, not just mugshots. What else have you come across?
Well, there are a few actually, as everything end up on internet in these days. And so, for instance, information about minors. Right now, only in California there is legislation that let people delete all the information of when they were minors that they posted online or was about them and is searchable on Google. And that's very strange, like one state in the entire country. And that's very basic right that everyone should have, why information about minors should be out there. Another very bad situation is about revenge porn. And in some states, it's still legal. There isn't any legislation that let you to remove such of information, such of like videos, pictures from the internet, for instance. And then there are many others, also about your health. Let's say that you have some health issue of any sort, and that is like online. And when you're looking for a job, someone can find out what are your health issues or like what kind of medication you take, about your finance and about anything that really stigmatizes you or can ruin your reputation for little things.
So it sounds like lots of stuff that could affect your family, your friends, potential work, all sorts of things up in the air. It appears that the laws have not caught up with the age of the internet.
That's right. That's right. And after all, it's not a very difficult to apply that right because after all, we are all looking for information on Google, on Yahoo, and another couple of search engines. But those are really the doors to our information in a way. So if we would have this right to remove personal information, sensitive information from those search engines, that would be enough in a way. That would let us to have some right back.
Absolutely. Paolo Cirio, great to have you on with us. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Bye.